Hey everybody, it's Ryan Arsenal. I am the Principal Field Solution Architect here at Pure Storage. I cover SAP. I like to tell a lot of stories, and I've spent a lot of time in my career really in IT, and in those times there was some really good days. Like I remember the first time I ran data conversion into a HANA production database, and the conversions finished in half the time we expected. But there's also some really bad days, and everyone has those in IT. Like that time I remember when a contractor who somehow had write access to the database ran a script that changed all the part numbers in the material master to something really obscure. Yep, that really happened. But both of those incidents were surprises, which, happen all the time in IT. The really bad days were the ones that were scheduled, and none of them are worse than weekend DR testing. Because, it's Saturday. You're tired from a full week of work. The bagels are day old. The coffee tastes stale. And you know you're going to be there long after college football kicks off for the day. Everyone's just grumpy. And it's not just your IT friends in the room, but your business partners travel up to the IT building as well. They're just as aggravated to be there. But this work is important, right? Your CIO, your business leaders, they all need to know that business can continue in the event of a disaster. So testing your DR playbook, it's a critical task. So that's why you're there. So at the top of the hour starts the downtime of production, and away you go. From an IT standpoint, it's really just about ensuring the technology can come up on the DR side with all your integrations repointed and with the data at the proper timestamp to then hand over to the business. From there, the waiting game starts, while the business creates transaction after transaction to ensure the data can flow properly. These are the days a global single instance decision was very regrettable. But I'm here to show you it doesn't have to be that way for your SAP landscape, thanks to continuous storage-based replication from Pure Storage known as ActiveDR. You see, Pure Storage designed the solution to not only give you the best possible RPO, RTO for your DR environment, but also in a way that allows you to do your DR testing in the middle of the day without any interruption to your production environment. So in this demo, I'm going to show you just how easy it is to set up ActiveDR, how failover in the testing process works, and how to tear down when you're done. And as a bonus, you don't even have to give up on HANA system replication for your HA environment. You can use both and get the best of both worlds. Really quick in-memory replication from an HA standpoint for fast failovers, and storage-based replication for DR to be able to test during the middle of the day. Let's jump in and see how it works. So in my demo scenario, there are two flash arrays. The first one's housing both my production and my HA HANA system. And the other is in the DR data center, and it houses my disaster recovery HANA system. As you can see, HANA system replication is being used between production and HA. And next, I'll show how easy it is to set up Pure's continuous replication, or ActiveDR, between these two flash arrays. Now, since there's no acknowledgement back to the primary array within ActiveDR, the distance between these arrays doesn't matter. In my demo environment, the entire landscape is virtualized through VMware. I do use RDMs, boo, for the HANA database and data and log files. But the good news, this functionality will be available for VMware vVols very, very soon. And of course, I will redo this demo from a vVol standpoint when that becomes available. One added benefit as well of this solution is you can use the DR side for taking snapshots of your production environment. You could actually use the primary system as well as if you'd like, and use that for things like the test environment refresh process. I'll link my previous video below on how to take advantage of snapshots to refresh your test environment. Now let's go jump into the demo. So let's start over here in HANA Studio. I have a number of systems set up, but I really want you to focus on these three right here, the ADR1, ADR2, and ADR3. These are all HANA systems that I set up ahead of time. ADR1, ADR2, my production and HA systems, ADR3 being my DR system. As you can see, they all have the same SID, ADR, ADR3 currently down because I haven't set up the continuous replication for that as of yet. Between ADR1 and ADR2, I do have HANA system replication set up. Let's go ahead and check how that looks. I did set it up as syncmem with log replay read access, which means you can do read access on the secondary site. I know a lot of customers love to do that, push some of their reporting over to their HA system, take some of the load off their production HANA database. So if we go look at the Ryan test table that I created, there is some data in there. And let's go ahead and create some more. Insert that data in, and boom, there it is. Now let's head over to the HA system. And it came over as well. So as you can see, HANA system replication is working between these two systems. Now I'm going to go ahead and set up continuous active DR replication. Now you can do this from either your source production system, or because I'm replicating data to my HA system, I can actually pull the data from there as well. That way, if I do have to fail over and from an HA standpoint, the data continues to flow over to my DR system. Let's go ahead and set that up. All right, now over to the flash array. This is the flash array that contains both the production and the HA system for HANA. To be able to start replication, you need to create what's called a pod. So let's just go ahead, create one. Ryan HANA live demo. Ryan HANA live demo. There she is. Now we're going to go ahead and move the volumes that we want to replicate into this pod. Click Move In. Looking for ADR2, my data, and my log with a protection group. And they are now moved into that pod. Now before you can actually get the data moved over, you have to create what's known as a pod replica link. We're going to go over to my remote array, which is my DR array. And we're going to create a remote pod over there because I haven't done this before. And we'll call it ADR3 target. So what happens now is the link is created between these two arrays. The volumes that are part of this pod are now baselining and replicating over. And when they're complete, I can go over and now have access to those volumes on the other side. And there you go. We're now replicating. All right, let's head over to the DR array now. We'll find the pod that we created. Here's that ADR3 target. You can see the pod was created. The volumes were replicated over. It shows you the status where we're replicating. We got about a 1 second lag between. Shows you the exact recovery point, which we'll get into in a second. And it shows me the source array and the direction of the replication. So the source array being where I created both the production and the HA system. Now let's go ahead and show what you would want to do if you wanted to test your DR capabilities. These volumes that were replicated to the DR array are currently in a read-only state, and HANA can only start up if the volume is writable. So the way we start the process is by promoting this target DR array. So in the pod, I'm just going to go ahead and promote it. It's going to grab the latest RPO. Promotes it up, and then it should be ready to go. And the pod is promoted. So now we have a read-writable copy of the pod in that current state for DR testing. Now, as a reminder, replication from my HA environment is still going on behind the scenes while I'm doing this. I don't have to touch production. Production can keep creating transactions as it currently is. Now, because I'm now promoted, I won't get those transactions because it's a point-in-time copy, but that's okay. We're just trying to do the test of the DR playbook. With this now promoted, I can go ahead and take these volumes and connect them over to my host. In this case, they would be my vCenter. And now the volumes that are in this pod, which was promoted, are connected to vCenter, are writable, and I can head over and hook those RDMs back up to my VM. That'll allow me then to start up HANA and we'll be good to go. So this is the DR, ADR3. I'm going to add an RDM disk. And we have to find out which disk it was. So if I was to go back to my array, find my data volume, I know it's 256 gig, and I know the serial number ends in C41D. C41D. We'll add that. What about the log volume? (128 gig), C41E. C41E. And those disks have been added. Now let's head over to that host. Here's my ADR3 host. And you can see both disks have now been added. Let's mount them up. The 256 is my data. 128 is my log. See, there they are. Now, since I copied this from another host, before I can actually start the database, I need to make sure that the topology has changed. Now, these are the same commands you use when you're failing over from an HSR standpoint. Very, very simple. As you can see, the only change it really made is it updated the host from my ADR Demo 1 host to my ADR Demo 3 host. Now I can start the database. HANA is now started up. Connect over to that system. And boom. I'm now on my DR host. You can see all the data that I created earlier has come over. And now I can hand off this environment to my business to do their DR testing. Now, obviously, you're most likely going to have an SAP application on top of this. The application just pulls its data from the database. So in this environment, you would start up your application, which has already been connected to your database, and then hand that over. Now the waiting game starts. Let your business run through its data, go through that playbook. But the beauty of this, as you can see, we can do this on just about any afternoon. No more coming on Saturday, no more stale bagels, no more bad coffee. Do this on a Wednesday afternoon if you want. Now let's go ahead and see how we break things down. Once the business is done, I can go ahead and stop that database. Go back to the pod. Demote it back down. So essentially, as it says, this is going to make that pod read-only. It's going to revert to the last RPO, because remember, the things are still replicating behind the scenes. And now we're good. DR testing is officially fun again. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment. Love to hear from you. And if there's other things you want to see around Pure Storage and SAP HANA, let me know. And as always, thanks for diving into the data deep end with Pure Storage and SAP. And until next time, thanks everyone. Stay pure.